Glute bridges. So with this, we're just pressing our hips straight up in the air and right back down and just really isolating this engagement of the glutes here. You can add resistance to this by simply just taking a dumbbell or any kind of a weight you got, like a kettlebell, a medicine ball, whatever you want to kind of put right on your pelvis there. You can use your hands to support so it doesn't roll up towards your neck or your chin or anything, and then press right back down. Any kind of resistance you can just kind of balance right on that spot there will work to add some resistance to this glute bridge. But let's take a look at the details of form we're checking out here. So from what we're doing is we've got our feet planted parallel. So it's important your feet are still in line, that you kind of do with your squats eventually. If you're working on your squats yet, your feet are hip width and parallel. Your knees are in line with your feet, with the middle of your feet. So don't let your knees collapse in. Don't let them fall too far out for this particular motion. We want our knees in line with where our feet are. From there, you're going to draw on your abdominal muscles a little bit here. It doesn't have to be a crazy tight engagement, but just a nice little engagement as you then squeeze your glutes to press and lift those hips straight up into the air. Now, the idea is as you lift, your abs are engaged here to help sort of pull the front of the pelvis up toward you as you lift so that your pelvis tilts just enough to keep your spine neutral through the lift. So with this motion, we're not trying to roll the spine up individually, each individual vertebrae or anything like that. We want to keep the spine nice and straight and long. So as soon as the butt lifts off the ground, the whole rest of the spine is leaving the ground together. Everything comes up together, high as you can go, and then everything comes back down together. If you don't try to get the abs involved, if you let that slack a little bit, or you just try to really arch the back up there, then what you'll do is you're going to end up arching the back here. And for this motion, we want to keep a neutral spine. So that means using the abdominal muscles in tandem with the glutes to help pull the front of the pelvis up toward us at the top, just enough so that it remains your spine remains neutral. And then when you come back down, the pelvis levels back out. So if you imagine the pelvis is kind of like a vertical line right here, when I get up to the top, the pelvis is actually a little bit of an angle, maintaining that perpendicular aspect to the spine there, and then coming back down. So understanding how to get that control of the pelvis there goes a long way as you then step up to things like more complicated squats and deadlifts and things, because this is basically a little bit of a hip hinge that you're just barely starting to work on here. So try to get these little points of form dialed in. And then even though this might seem like a pretty basic exercise, it's very important to get those points of form dialed in. And then when you have that, then you can start adding some resistance to it and still digging in. So you could be pretty advanced with this exercise, still thinking about how you're engaging your core, maneuvering that pelvis, and just doing it with a lot of weight on your hips here, pressing up through this glute bridge.